Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Dark Souls livestream series. We are here in our PyroDex build, and I am about to attempt Quelaag once again. I have rested at this bonfire, which means that I will not have the luxury of homeward boning back to Firelink Shrine once I have killed Quelaag and then also dispatched Ceaseless Discharge. It's a little bit unfortunate, but it was necessitated by the fact that on the way here, I was hit by a toxic dart from a very disruptive enemy. Disruptive in the sense that he has completely ruined my plans. So now that we've fixed that situation, it has been addressed by resting at the bonfire. It's a shame that I don't have a blooming purple moss clump, and I'm also in a position where I'm suffering from poison damage because I don't have any poison moss clumps. But anyway, we fixed the toxin. I can deal with poison. Toxin, however, is a non-negotiable. I cannot actually fight Quelaag while I'm toxic. I do not have enough Estus flasks to actually heal myself. It has to do with the amount of health that you lose. It lasts for the same duration as poison, as far as I'm aware. I don't know if your resistances will actually reduce toxin versus poison. Like maybe they'll have different durations depending on your resistances. My guess would be that that's not how it works. I'd say it would be the same, just both of them would get reduced in some way. But that's the question that I actually can't answer. Does your increased resistance reduce build-up? Or does it reduce the duration of the effect once it has been applied to you? I'm not able to answer that. I'm sure at one time I would have been able to. Just can't right now. So what killed me last time fighting Quelaag, despite the fact that I had Man-Eater Mildred helping me out, which was a little bit embarrassing, was the fact that we had that big ranged attack that Quelaag does on occasion. Just watching for when she stops doing whatever she was doing before and lowers her body down is enough to see that the attack is coming. But if you are, like I was in the previous video, stuck in the middle of a combo and fully committed to that, sometimes you can't react fast enough to survive, or to evade the attack anyway. I'm just keeping to the side of the enemy as best I can. You just need to keep an eye out on where the lava is on the ground. That is also a common way that you end up dying in this. Oh, see that? That is the exact same situation that I was in last time. I think that was exactly the same, wasn't it? I was doing a two-handed R2 attack, which causes me to really commit for some time. And at the precise moment that I did it, I got the really dangerous ranged attack. Happened twice in a row. 2 fights in a row. I don't know if that's my bad luck, or if I'm just choosing the worst possible moments to use that attack. Oh, you can see this lava is becoming... Are you kidding me? Well, if you ever want to see how Quelaag can completely trap you, that would be, I think, the best possible example. I couldn't even escape her. That was it. I think the most frustrating thing is that these events do not occur. Like, I've never seen that before. But of course, it happens when I'm recording. I don't know what that's about. It's so frustrating, seriously. Just to ensure that I don't get stuck at the bonfire due to that annoying glitch that I've mentioned before. Well, it happened anyway. Maybe on some bonfires it just happens more often than others. Sorry, do bear with me, I'm just closing and reopening the application. You're going to have to enjoy a black screen for a little while. But yeah, ideally I would have had gold pine resin for that fight, but I suspect that even if I had gold pine resin in the previous video, I would have failed. So I would have used it and then lost it without actually having a successful fight come as a result of its use. And then as far as this fight is concerned, like this recording anyway, that death was just me being subjected to the worst case scenario when it comes to Quelaag's attacks. She had very expertly trapped me. So, yeah, what I was mentioning during the fight, or trying to mention anyway, was that is another common way that you die while fighting Quelaag. It's not actually paying... Oh, I've opened the wrong file. Let's try that again. This is my... Well, I'm not going to go into details, but this is one of my builds that I use. Her name is Therese, and she is a dark magic build. Works quite well stylistically, using the Oswald of Karim set, the Manus Catalyst, and the Obsidian Greatsword, I think it's called. It's the one that you get from cutting Calamete's tail. I really would like it if the strong attack were a little bit more powerful, because while it does have a wide area of effect when you hit, like when you slam the blade down, I don't know if AoE is the correct term. Let's just say it's got a wide hit range. It feels like it takes way too long to cast or perform the attack. And by the time you're in New Game Plus... Well, in that build I'm in New Game Plus 4. Honestly, it's not worth using at all. Really not worth using. Now, this time around I actually have less Estus Flasks than I did before. Like, in the previous attempt, and probably the attempt before it. So can I succeed? It is the ultimate question. Even with a +5 halberd with 25 dexterity, I'm not doing much damage at all to Quelaag, so it really is essential, I think, if you're at this soul level in the game, which is soul level 32. Perfectly reasonable for this fight. You really should be summoning Maneater Mildred. The only problem with her is that, as an NPC, she often puts herself in the lava and just gets stuck there. Not in quite the same way that I did previously, in a different sort of way. Like, she will end up in the center of the lava and just completely fail to get herself out of it. You can't quite see yet how little damage I'm dealing, but it's very little. Just trust me. You probably already saw it before. It's lackluster, to put it I don't even know how I'm trying to phrase it. To put it lightly. I'm doing this attack again. The one that I really shouldn't be doing at all. Because if I'm stuck doing it, I really can't respond to the situation as it changes. I think Mildred is stuck in the lava right now. Please get over here. That's the thing, her AI does not in any way account for the fact that there's lava on the ground. That's precisely what the problem is. Oh, I meant to do a jump attack, actually. I don't know if it's thanks to Maneater Mildred or I've actually been slowly but surely building up damage without paying attention, but we're already past halfway through her health. If you're able to see those more orange-coloured I guess health loss indications? I need to think of a phrase. So you can see when I deal damage, it comes up yellow on the health bar. But it comes up orange for people that I've summoned. If you look at the orange... I feel like deduction is not the word. Reductions? The orange reductions? The orange health reductions. If you look at those, they're much better than my damage. And it's actually helping quite a lot. So you can possibly tell that she's not... That is to say, Maneater Mildred, she's not that effective as a distraction. She's actually mostly effective in dealing damage. And that is, of course, provided she's not stuck in the fucking lava. Needed a few attempts there. I don't care if it's looked upon unfavorably, but seriously, I'm getting some pretty shit luck in this recording. Not just in this recording, but in the previous one. Some of the scenarios that are leading to my death are just ridiculous and do not happen. I think most of you would agree. If you're familiar with playing the Soul series, you would know that these scenarios are just not the standard. They're not the standard scenarios that would play out while playing, so... Play out while playing, that's an excellent phrase, Tim, like, excellently done. Very articulate. You can probably already see the poor frame rate now that we're here, particularly when you look in the direction of the lava. I'll try not to do that. As tempting as it is for me to demonstrate what I'm talking about, I also need to realize that in doing so, it makes for a worse viewing experience. I think you guys can appreciate that I'm taking a balanced approach to this particular playthrough. I'm simultaneously acknowledging that my luck has been complete shit, but I'm not complaining about it, not really. I'm just getting on with the game and dealing with it. To be honest, that is the only way that you can deal with the Souls series. If I seem a little bit more exasperated and frustrated while playing Dark Souls 2, it's because there are so many more frustrations when it comes to that game compared to Dark Souls that when I die stupidly here, it's not going to bother me as much as if I die stupidly in that game. Because, yeah. It just feels more unpleasant to play. But I'm not going to talk at length about how I feel about Dark Souls 2. I think I do enough of that while actually playing the game. I think my venom can be saved for when I'm doing that. I'm playing Dark Souls right now, and it is a game that I adore. One that I think I will always come back to. Obviously most of my playtime, even to this day, was on the PlayStation 3. I had a tiny amount on the Xbox. But I've got about 400 hours here on the PC version, across various characters. But my current objective, obviously, is to focus all of my playtime on the PC, whether it's this version or the remastered version. But I do want to focus on getting all of my characters to New Game Plus 7. Here on the original PC version of Dark Souls. And I'm sure that in time I will achieve that. I say New Game Plus 7 because I think that's the maximum. That's my recollection of it. I may have to actually go and double check to see if that's accurate. Because I don't know if I can really trust my memories these days. One good question is it the number of times that you hit that? Or is it the build-up of poise damage? It's probably not the build-up of poise damage, is it? Because poise damage has a sort of cooldown. So if poise damage has a cooldown, it's probably not that. It's probably the number of times you hit the fist. And the reason why I mentioned that, or the reason why I want to introduce that as a topic of conversation, is because it may have actually been a bad idea to go two-handed, because I'm not looking to deal more damage. And I'm possibly not looking to deal more poise damage. It might just be individual hits. I may have to try that by punching it next time. These are things that I would have tested with the numerous builds that I used to run between 2011 and 2013. But, yeah. Just for a bit of trivia, this game that I'm playing here was the game that took over my Monster Hunter Tri obsession. Oh, for fuck's sake, what sort of impatience leads me to do something like that exactly? What sort of stupidity causes me to fail that climb? I'm really the only person who can be blamed there. I can't blame the fucking game for that. But anyway. It has to be said that I've died more times in this playthrough here, this specific one, than in any one that I've done on my channel so far, and possibly any playthrough that I can remember in recent history. I've got no idea what has caused it, but it's happening. It's for real. And I'm going to have to live with it. I'm sure I'll redeem myself with my various New Game Plus 2, Plus 3, Plus 4, etc. playthroughs, but that will obviously come in the future. There is actually a build that I need to do in New Game Plus that has already been started on my channel. it was my pure bow build. That was the first build that I actually did for this version of the game. You will recall, possibly, and if you don't, I'm going to remind you now, that I actually started with the PS3 version for this series. I then did, I think, 1 or 2 builds in the Xbox 360 version. One of them was cut short, because I took a break and then eventually I decided, well, now that I can comfortably record PC games, which back then was not something that I could do before, but then at some point could, there was no reason to force you guys to watch 30 FPS. So I decided to cancel whatever Xbox build I was working on, and then play the PC version. What I really should have done, in hindsight, was done an offline build to match the one that I had already done in the Xbox 360 version, and then tried to more or less resume what I had already done in the Xbox version on the PC version. And then at least that way I could have finished the build off. Even if ultimately it led to the deletion of the character so that I hadn't taken up an undesirable slot. Or taken up a character slot with a build that I didn't want to continue doing. Even if it ultimately led to the deletion of that character, I think it would have been a better way of approaching it. I think the reason why I didn't bother was because enough time had passed where I wasn't really attached anymore to the character. Or even to the principle of finishing something I had already started. But yeah, the pure bow build that I did actually went all the way into New Game Plus. The last recording that I did was, I think, me slaying Gwyn, and then just continuing through the game all the way to Anor Londo in New Game Plus. Which is not really a great idea, because what it means is it started in New Game, so therefore I haven't written in the title of the video that it is predominantly a New Game Plus run contained within. It's just marked as normal. But no, that is actually the first part of the New Game Plus playthrough. I'd probably only need 2 more recordings to finish off the New Game Plus playthrough of the pure bow build. But yeah. I have 67,000 souls, which is a good amount at this point in the game. I've got the Soul of Quelaag, which I'm going to hold onto. I may actually get some use out of that. I really don't want to use Quelaag's Fury Sword, because you will have obviously noticed that I'm using a dexterity build. I would say that there's always the temptation to use the Quelaag's Fury Sword, but I've used it possibly once or twice already in the recordings that I've done here in this series, so in the interest of variety, and in presenting something interesting to you, I think I'm going to abstain from using anything related to Quelaag. I'm not going to be using the Chaos Blade, because it actually hurts to swing it. Like, if your Chaos Blade makes contact with an enemy, much like the Hiltless in Demon Souls, it will deal a small amount of damage to you. I find that to be just awful, just absurd. I think it's a terrible idea. Especially considering that it's worse than Quelaag's Fury Sword, in basically every way. By the way, I have now oh, my controller has disconnected awkwardly. Is it back now? Looks like it. Don't know why it just disconnected briefly there. I have now spoken to this guy, the person that we rescued in the depths, and I have acquired his Pyromancy Flame. Oh. I've upgraded it to +2. I can upgrade it a little bit further, but what I might do first is purchase Fire Orb. But do you know what I'm going to do now? Which is something that I should have done before going live. Is I'm going to remind myself of where I can acquire all of the Pyromancies. It's important that I check this, because I don't want to go past an opportunity to pick one up, and then have to go back later when I realise that I missed it. So, if I go to, once again, Fextra Life. Pyromancies. We'll see where the next one is, keeping in mind that we've now unlocked Sen's Fortress. We may have already gone past some of them. Okay. So, apparently Quaylana will provide us with Great Fireball, presumably by killing her. No, it seems she actually sells it. So that should be the one... Oh no, it's Quaylana of Izalith, excuse me. So have I missed my opportunity to see her? So, she spawns by a large stone pillar between the shore of Quaylag's domain and the second water wheel leading to the Valley of Drakes. But is she still... I see, she will disappear if you defeat the Bed of Chaos. So she should actually still be there. I access her, or it feels like I access her so infrequently. So I actually had forgotten that she was there. I think I would be inclined at this point to get Great Fireball and completely avoid Fire Orb. I don't think that's worthwhile. Now, something that I'm undecided about is Firestorm and Fire Tempest, etc. This is the one where you get these big pillars of fire all around you. I've never actually been able to get much use out of that in Dark Souls. Thinking back to Firestorm, I think it was called, in Demon Souls, that was so strong that even if all of your pillars of fire didn't make contact with the enemy, it was still worth using. It was, I think, 3 spell memory slots, but it was still... Or miracle memory. No, was it a... It was a spell, I think. Yeah, not a miracle. 3 spell memory slots. But it was so freaking damaging that if you wanted to be a really heavy damage dealer, it was a good choice. Particularly if you wanted to deal fire damage for one reason or another. Maybe you had a boss that you were fighting that was weak to it. It was just more effective in that game, but here in this game I've never been able to recreate that level of effectiveness, so I'm in 2 minds about it. What I think I might do to start with is purchase Great Fireball and Great Combustion from Quaylana. I obviously made a mistake leaving Blighttown before doing that, which is precisely why it would have been... I would have been better served by actually checking to see where these damn pyromancies were before starting this recording. But that's alright. I've checked now. There was no chance of me accidentally killing the Bed of Chaos before getting to this point, where I was buying pyromancies from Quaylana. It's just confusing because I believe Quaylana is also the spider thing. The dying spider thing by that bonfire. And of course the reason why we didn't rest at that bonfire was so that we could still make use of homeward boning back to the Blighttown bonfire in that little tunnel. So I have 71,000 souls. I'm going to hold off on using the souls that I've got on my person now, just so that I can purchase what I need and then level up. I don't want to be tempted to level up more than I can really afford to. Now, armor is still something that I need to look at. Maybe I'll just equip the gold hemmed set for now. I should still be able to fast roll. Cool. That's an improvement upon the defense that we already had, so there's no real reason for me to not equip this set. I do tend to equip it very often. It's an armor set that can't be upgraded, but it does have very good resistance, I think, to fire. And also poison, by the looks of it. So, yeah, fire defense is in the 50s, and you've got 94, I would presume, poison resistance per equipment piece, which, to be honest, I can't really translate into anything meaningful. Obviously, I can get meaning out of it by comparing it to other things, other equipment pieces, but I don't really know, strictly speaking, what 94 poison resistance actually means. Because I haven't really gotten into the skeleton, the back end of how the game works, or at least not recently. But I'm minded to say at this point that I never did. I never really got into it. I was able to play the game very well, and I was able to min-max more or less, but I don't remember ever really informing myself as to, you know, what level of resistance was good for what. Or if I had X level of resistance, how would that translate into my in-game resistances while fighting enemies? I don't think I ever did that. Now, as for where Quaylana is, I know Shiva of the East appears around here. As for Quaylana, I don't know precisely where I can find her. Oh, you can see, oh, okay. Maybe that's what your poison resistance is. Maybe it increases your bar. Yeah, okay. So that's what it does. See, this is something that I would have known for certain in the past. It's amazing what you forget, isn't it? It just goes to show that if you don't know something, you don't know something, and the same can be said of forgetting something. If you've forgotten it, you don't realize that you've forgotten it because it's not in your head. So, I hope I'm going the right way. Is there more than one water wheel? Because that was... A water wheel was mentioned in the description of her location, so... Oh, I fucking hate these things. They're very bothersome to hit. Do you see what I mean? Like, they can... very subtly avoid my attacks. Quite frankly, I hated them in Demon Souls too, so... They are consistent in how they are designed, at the very least. Still waiting to be able to play Demon Souls, by the way. The remastered version. Or the remake, I suppose, is what I should say. It feels appropriate to say remaster because it really is the same game, just with updated graphics and animations, as far as I'm aware. But seriously, I've been waiting to play it since it came out, and it hasn't come out on PC. I wasn't really expecting it to come out on PC in a timely fashion, but yeah. It looks like A-Gaming and Potato dropped in at the same time. Welcome to the livestream. Yeah, look, I've heard positive things about the remake, and negative things, but it's been mostly positive. And I haven't heard anything that would deter me from giving it a try. So I really do want to play it, and I have specifically avoided all gameplay of it. It might be difficult for you guys to even comprehend this, but I almost don't know what it looks like at all. I actually don't know what it looks like. I've got no earthly idea. So, when I do actually get the chance to play it, whatever circumstances will lead to that, I can't say for sure. I'm almost certain to not get a PS5 until it is like 1 or 2 generations old. But, yeah, when I do play it, I will be playing it fresh, without having experienced anything of what it looks like. And I think the value in that is that you'll be able to get a very direct reaction to what has changed. You will be getting my actual fresh reaction to that. I do not know where the hell Quaylana is. I don't know where she's meant to be. I don't think there's more than one water wheel, although there might be. My only choice at this point is to quit, just so that I don't die from poison while I fucking check to see where she is. So, the description, and I don't know why I use Vextra Life, I really shouldn't. The description is... Well, now I need to find it. Aha. So I need to upgrade the Pyromancy Flame to at least +10, which is ironic because that information is very low on the page. So she's not here. I'm glad we've established that. So very low on the page of information, like far down the page, it says, she will appear after having a Pyromancy Flame that is upgraded to at least +10. Apparently she appears if someone that you've summoned who has a Pyromancy Flame to +10 enters your world, so that's a bit weird. But yeah, I don't believe that I can afford to fully upgrade the Pyromancy Flame yet. That's not fully upgraded, it goes up to 15, I believe. But yeah, there you have it. She's not there, so I can relax at least a little bit. I was thinking it was a bit early to be able to get those pyromancies, jeez. That explains why I can't get them. A-Gaming thinks that the PC version of the Dark Souls remake will come to PC next year. I also had completely forgotten that I rested at that bonfire. So I wasted that homeward bone. I've only got one more. I really have to be a little bit more conservative with my use of these things. Particularly now, I have no choice. I've only got one. Full dragon build, hey? I inspired A-Gaming to do a run of Dark Souls because I have been playing it, and he's gone for a build that I haven't done in well over 10 years. 12 years now. So, I think the reason why, the thing that turned me off back then, which is ironic, is the fact that you don't have any poise, and yet these days I run so many builds where I just use an armor set just for the appearance of it, and it has no poise, so yeah, I think, doesn't it also have no defense? I think there's no defense and no poise, something like that. That's my vague recollection. If it does have defense, it's not much. But, yeah, it would be tempting to do. Apparently Potato just uses strength builds and that's it. I don't know if he is saying that in jest, or if he's actually serious. I can't put up with that. I can't use only strength. In fact, I am so partial to light rolling builds that I become a bit depressed if I use heavy strength builds. I feel almost weak, and I invariably, for certain bosses, just strip down. And I will take on the boss with limited defense, just so that I can fast roll through all the attacks. Because sometimes being reliant on a shield is really disadvantageous. Even if you've got something like Havel's shield, although there are obviously less examples where you'll be overpowered if you're relying on that shield. But yeah, the most recent really heavy build that I have worked on has been my quality build. That actually uses the full stone set with the stone great shield. Obviously for fashion reasons, insofar as the stone great shield being included in that set. It's not one of the best great shields, but it's obviously the only damn one that fits with the stone set. I originally intended to use the Guardian set, actually, because, I don't know, I sort of expected it to be a better set, but in some ways the stone set is actually better, and for one reason or another, it is considerably heavier as well. It is the heaviest set in the game, and yeah, the reason why I didn't use the Guardian set was because the stone great shield just didn't have quite the right coloration. It just didn't properly match the Guardian set. And for those who are unaware, the Guardian set is essentially the ancient version of the stone set, so you go into the past and get the stone set before it becomes really old and decrepit. And that's what the Guardian set is, but the coloration doesn't match. You don't get a Guardian Great Shield, you just get a stone Great Shield, that's it. So my frustration in those two things not matching actually led me to use the stone set, so I do have a very slow build that I've recently used. And I'm also happy to report that it also uses the stone great sword, so, which has a tranquil walk of peace built in, so it's fun. Good to see you as well, Arexian. Happy that you were able to stop by, and thank you again for the subscription. Yeah, the stone set is beautiful for poise. I can't remember how its poise compares to Havel, but it may even be higher, yeah. I think Havel sits at like 90. Stone maybe about the same. Yeah, well, I hated parrying in Bloodborne, Potato, so there you go. You and I sit on opposite ends of the spectrum. Potato has only learnt to parry in Bloodborne because there's no shield, and I hated the parrying system in that game. Because you literally shoot a gun. That's what you do, you fucking shoot the monster. Oh, great. Shoot the enemy, that is. How exciting is that? Anyway, I would rather not be drawn into a discussion about Bloodborne. If only for the fact that I'm not very clued up on it. I played it when it came out for like 12 hours straight, something like that, and that was my only experience with it. It wasn't 12 hours straight, it was like 7 hours straight, and then I played the next day. So, yeah. I was well and truly over it by then. It was so fucking bland, and anyway, I'm not going to go into it. Not going to go into it. To summarize it, I wanted a Souls game, it wasn't a Souls game, I was mad. And I also hated those really long loading screens that were white. I think they were white. Anyway, the loading screens when you died were extremely long. It was like 1 minute you had to sit there and wait while the fucking game loaded. It was truly heinous. What am I doing? So, I've got 72,000 souls. I don't know how much of what I have now should be directed into my Pyromancy Flame. I will purchase Fire Orb because I'm not going to be able to get that Fireball for a little while. Alright, let's take it to +5. That feels appropriate. I don't know if we're going to be able to afford to take it to +10. Should I give it a try? I suppose I do have access to soul farming anyway, so let's just do it. Let's just do it. Feels like a little bit of a waste. Alright, now that it's at +10, I need to go and get some souls, because I'm not going to consume the soul of Quelaag. I'm still not comfortable doing that. I may yet have use for it. But yeah, let's go and equip it, shall we? Pyromancy Flame. And we may as well equip Fire Orb. There we go. Took a number of hours, but now we're actually using Pyromancy in a Pyromancy build. Well, I'm not too concerned about the fact that you guys don't agree with me. I have yet to meet a person who hated Bloodborne. Or at least can agree with some of my points that I make. I used to have fairly in-depth arguments, but they've sort of fallen by the wayside. I think because I'm worried about possibly misremembering some details. It was 10 years ago now. You know, 12 to 15 hours of gameplay 10 years ago, formulating an opinion that is almost iconoclastic in nature, is probably not what you would describe as a watertight arrangement. Oh, I'm not going in the right direction, and I will tell you why. It's because I do not yet have the souls to make the purchase that I was going to do, which I think is a 20,000 soul purchase for Great Fireball. And then an additional 5,000 souls for combustion. So what I will have to do is get some souls from the soul farming location. And then I will do that. Feels a little bit early to be getting those pyromancies here. But there is another consideration that I've actually completely forgotten, because I'm negligent. It is the fact that I don't really have the attunement to equip multiple pyromancies. Fortunately, Great Combustion and Great Fireball only require single slots. But I definitely want at least 2 or 3 slots before I start using them, I think. Just for the option. Alright. There's been a lot of walking around in this recording. For those of you who are perhaps watching the VOD and have watched from the beginning, I thank you for your patience and your stoicism, because quite frankly, it would be enough to pull some people's hair out. Like the number of times I've gone back and forth from Blight Town to Firelink Shrine in this one recording. Awful. Intolerable, actually, by most accounts. But yeah, the Thorn set is going to be my chosen set for this build, but unfortunately I can't get it until I reach Lost Izalith. I also don't have a clear memory of having killed whatever his name is, Dirk. I keep going for this name Dirk. I truly hope I haven't gotten that wrong, because I've said Dirk so many times now. But, you know, the guy with the thorn armor, I don't have a very clear memory of having killed him in the previous video, but I think I did. I'm pretty sure that I did, and if I didn't, I'm an idiot. But I'm quite sure that was what I had to do in order to leave the depths, and I feel like I need to put some trust into myself. I need to trust that I wouldn't have left the depths had I not killed him, so that should have been taken care of. And then we can go and kill him in the Demon Ruins, followed by... Well, I suppose I could have actually killed him in the Demon Ruins now. Might have been a little bit of a challenge, but it would have been possible. But of course I'm not going to be able to get access to his location in Lost Izalith until I place the Lord Vessel. But that's alright, we're only 2 locations away from that, technically. So I suppose with that taken into consideration, I will endure this very boring loadout that I'm using right now. There's also another thing that I need to accept, and that is that my weapon is nowhere near good enough for taking on an Orlando. It is just a +5 halberd. It may be appropriate for Sen's Fortress, barely. But I suppose I'm counterbalancing my lack of effectiveness with my weapon by having really good pyromancy. So if I have great fireball and great combustion with a +10 pyromancy flame going through Sen's Fortress, that's going to be more than enough. I'm not going to need more than that. But I also want a decent weapon, so... I suspect that I will be making use of the souls that I get from the giant, whatever his name is. Iron Golem, sorry, from the Iron Golem, to purchase some large titanite. But am I comfortable using that large titanite to upgrade this weapon? That is the question. At risk of driving you guys even more insane, I might go and get the Eitor. So the Eitor is a nice weapon to have with a dex build. It's my favorite katana in the game, because instead of having that big vertical slash that the Uchigatana has, it has a horizontal slash that actually advances forward. It's a beautiful attack. I love the Eitor. The Chaos Blade obviously is another katana, but it's complete shit, and should be avoided at all costs. It's a meme weapon. It should be ignored. Yeah, I'm in 2 minds about it, A-gaming. I think the choice to have limited castings with spells was... I think it was an honest implementation, well thought out, and actually works well. I think it would be difficult to argue that it's a bad implementation, but it would be entirely fair to say that the magic system is preferred. I prefer it. That's because that's what I started with in Demon Souls, and I still enjoy that system more, but I also enjoy the fact that you do have a hard limit on what you can cast in this game. Feels like a form of balancing, and it doesn't negatively affect the way I play the game, not really. So I'm quite comfortable with it. Good night, potato. Alrighty. Just going to get a few more souls. We're at 22,000 now. I think I will go and get the Eitor. Seeing as though I'm going to buy some pyromancy anyway in that general area, I may as well go and get it. It's an annoying jump to make, but I think I can do it better now than I could around the time the game came out. I remember that Eitor jump being my Achilles heel, in much the same way that the Bed of Chaos remains my Achilles heel to this day. I don't know if that works, does it? I think Achilles heel is only one weakness, right? The implication of Achilles' heel is that you're really good at everything, or you're, well, in the context of Dark Souls, nothing will give me difficulty, except for one thing, because Achilles' heel, singular. But no, I'm, in this conversation, identifying two things that used to be a problem. Yeah, the Eitor jump and the Bed of Chaos are probably the two things that I've struggled with the most, but I'm much better at both of them now than I used to be, which is interesting. In so many ways I've become so much worse at this game than I was 10 plus years ago, but those two things I am better at now. I probably shouldn't have said any of that, because now I'm going to have a miserable time doing that jump, but that's alright. We've already started a bit of a trend of having truly, truly ridiculous deaths. Yeah, I seem to remember dusk herbs vaguely. It's so stupid that they would have a system where you had limited spellcastings and yet give you an item where you could replenish them. Or was dusk herb the thing that increased the number of castings for it? Was it a consumable that would give you more, or was it something that you were able to apply to a spell to give it more castings? I think it was the latter, wasn't it? I think you could use dusk herbs to give you more. Either that, or I'm getting confused with the thing that lowered the requirement. There was something that I thought was a herb, something like that, like a dusk herb that actually lowered the requirement for casting something. Yeah, I don't remember clearly anymore. All I know is I don't touch it. Haven't seen it recently, haven't been tempted to use it at all. I've kept well away. That is one of the most annoying things. That little tree and that big tree preventing this fucking sorcerer from coming this way. You can see he does get through it on occasion, but he often does get stuck. That is fucking frustrating. Come on. Thank you. Oh yes. If you recall, in the previous video for Dark Souls, I was getting a little bit annoyed at myself for having completely forgotten to pick up the Wolf's Ring. Now, I always say wolves, like with an apostrophe S, but it's just Wolf Ring. But I suspect that I will never jettison that habit. It's just a part of me now. Part of my identity. Yeah, I would say that using magic in Dark Souls 2 was somewhat fun. It was okay. I get about an equal amount of enjoyment in all of the games. Do you know what? I would say the game that I least enjoy using magic in would actually be this one. It's not to say that it's unenjoyable, it's just the least enjoyable. That doesn't necessarily speak to magic being less effective, though. I just feel like my options aren't as interesting. Like, even Demon Souls had more interesting options. Or maybe that was because I was first introduced to those spells, so I have a soft spot for them. There were technically more options in this game, I guess. You really are annoying. Never show your back to him, by the way. Do as I say, not as I do. If you were to see how I just engaged that guy, don't imitate it. Because what he does is he fucking sprints in your direction and then backstabs you. The only reason why he didn't do it on that occasion was because I was standing near the glitchy stairs. Alright, let's go and get the wolf ring. For some reason I still haven't picked up the Firekeeper soul. Alright, I probably have. No, I still haven't picked up the Firekeeper soul in the Undead Parish. What is wrong with me exactly? I don't know. The one that I've actually applied to my character is the one that you get from New Londo. So, I don't know what I'm playing at exactly, but it's a bit ridiculous. Alright, so contrary to what you might expect, to get up to the wolf ring, we actually need to go down. We need to go down before we go up. We need to go to these stairs over here. We will walk past the stone armor person. I actually don't know what they're called. Would it be appropriate to call them guardians? I suppose so. But yeah, I'm not really interested in fighting him. Alright. Our unoccupied ring slot is now occupied. With the ring that I use in almost every fucking build that I do, because almost every build that I do these days has very limited poise. Oftentimes, the only poise that I have on my builds is the poise that I get from the wolf ring. Oh, come on, who's following me? These tree people always thwart my bonfire resting objectives. Hey Remco, welcome to the livestream. I'm doing alright. Avast. I'm not going to do too much more of this. I won't subject you to endless grinding. If I'm ever fixing to get a shitload of souls, I'll try to do it off camera. Obviously I can't exactly edit it out while live, but I can definitely prioritize other things while I'm intending to be live and then do the soul farming by myself. But I have quite a few things I want to do in this recording, so yeah. I'm going to backstab you and then hopefully that resets your AI a bit. Come on. Very good. This sorcerer honestly makes this so much less efficient than it could be. This particular method of soul farming. Okay, I'm at 53,000 now. Is that alright? I guess it's okay. Let's... what should we do? Let's not get any more than this. We will settle for what we have. I have quite a task that I've set for myself here. Because it involves going back to Blighttown, I think possibly for the 4th fucking time in one recording, even though it's only been about 1 hour and 10 minutes since I went live. So you tell me what it probably would have been like to fucking watch up until now. I do know that some people just listen. If you're just listening, then consider yourself lucky. You're not missing much anyway. If that were a concern. You'll be missing a whole lot though if you don't tune in visually to the Eitor jump. I did it on one of my previous builds, I think. Probably my dexterity build. I did a dexterity build in the 360 version in this playthrough. Not this playthrough. In this livestream series. And I suspect that I'm not misremembering that. Because I did it recently enough on camera where it must have been that, so... yeah, and I think I did it first or second try. I don't remember struggling anyway. So there you have it. I just need to recreate that success here today. No pressure. I will return to Undeadburg once I have decent pyromancy. Sorry. Undead Asylum, not Undeadburg. I'm glad I picked myself up on that. Sometimes people can work out what you mean, and then other times they're just left completely confused by what the hell you're going on about. Resting at this bonfire so we can get a few more Estus flasks. Actually, I probably could go and kill Pinwheel, that might be a good idea. Just for something to get done in the early game. Most of you will probably recognize that I almost never go through the catacombs legitimately. If I feel like actually imbuing any weapons with fire in this build, still not entirely sure if I will or not. But if I do feel like doing it, you will get to see me go through the catacombs properly just to get to Vamos. Of course, I'm not playing the remastered version, so there is no bonfire at Vamos. Or I think there is a bonfire there, but you can't warp to it. I think that's what it is. Something along those lines. It's been so long since I've gone to Vamos that I can no longer remember if there's even a bonfire there normally. But definitely there is a warpable bonfire in the remastered version where Vamos is. Which makes sense, I don't know why they didn't do that in the original version. I sort of understand Griggs of Vinheim, not Griggs, the one who's in New Londo. The magic vendor who can also forge magic stuff. I don't think he's Griggs, he's someone else. He's sort of imprisoned. He's rather close to Firelink already, so I can accept that he's not close to a warpable bonfire, like literally on top of one. I can accept that, but Vamos? He's deep within the catacombs. Why would they not originally give you a bonfire? It's a strange thing. I guess just an oversight is how you would describe it. Now, where the hell is this lady? Is she somewhere around here? I bet she's, like, here. No, not here. I do have a +10 pyromancy flame, so I do expect to be able to make use of her services. If I cannot, I'll be getting on the phone. Quite angrily. Or leave a bad review. I just know that she hangs around a water wheel. That's my understanding of it. And I've got some shitty photo to go by. Maybe not photo, we'll say picture. How about that? I've got a shitty picture to go by. She must be here, surely. Do I need to look at a video to see where the hell she is? Probably. Do you know what? It's unwise for me to go AFK here, so I will quit. And I will try to see where the hell I can engage her in what she has to offer. Okay. Dark Souls. Quelana location. Imagine actually taking the time to write remastered when you type this in. Dark Souls remastered. It just goes to show that people assume that so many things changed. They didn't. I can assure you. She's on an island in Blighttown, directly in front of the entrance to Chaos Witch Quelag's lair. What? Oh, I see. She's on an island directly in front of the entrance, so... where am I getting that information from? The fandom page, okay. I still would prefer the Wikidot page, but that's alright. Still better than Fextra Life. She's out in the middle, says A-Gaming. Well, sounds like it. As for the best way to get there... Get out of the bloody way. Well, if it's directly opposite, must be over this way. Possibly near the rock-throwing bastards. I don't really want to deal with them. Is she around here? Oh, there she is. Very good. Just goes to show how long it's been. No, fuck off. Be gone. Do you know what? I'm happy, very happy, for you to be the first recipient of my pyromancy in this fucking build. Irritant creatures. Hello, my twin. Sure.
Yes, of course. Very well.
Now give me my stuff. I can also upgrade a pyromancy flame with you, or my pyromancy flame, to be a little more specific. Undead rapport. The living allured by flame, and this relationship is part and parcel to the art of pyromancy. Can be used by either gender. So, I can literally get skeletons, or possibly even dreglings, and just have them follow me around. I don't know. I've never used it, believe it or not. I don't remember it.
Now go.
Now go. Actually, can I attune with you? I don't think I can I? No. Alright, well I've purchased your... I was about to say, I thought it was saying that I had purchased Firestorm. I was like, no, I didn't mean to. If I had done, that was such a waste. No, I hadn't, thank God. And, yeah, I've still got 29,000 souls. I'm going to hold on to them. And I will now go and get Iaito. Well, I don't know if rapport is OP. Is it really? Is it worth the time? It'd be interesting to give it a try. If I have used it, I have no memory of it. But I feel like if it was really good, I would have retained a memory of it, but anyway. I'm fucking poisoned again. Got a lot of these enemies to contend with. At least I'm one-shotting them. I'm glad it cancelled my casting. Would have been really annoying to just send that into a wall or something. I don't know if these flying creatures spawn infinitely. It feels as if they do. I'm not talking about this specific situation. I'm just talking about previously when I was killing them. Earlier on in the recording. It felt like they were just constantly coming. And were not stopping. So... I don't want to waste pyromancies on them if they're just going to keep coming. To summarize it. Do I have one of these blowgun motherfuckers? Oh, you prick. No, 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 no. I'm having problems with the terrain, okay? I do not need to suffer your fucking toxin. Get out of here. I'm glad that he actually gives me stuff to heal myself. That's a good thing. Seeing as though I'm out of the poison swamp, I should go and use one of those purple moss clumps. And if I do get toxic, or if I have toxin applied to me, I fortunately have some blooming purple moss clumps to make use of. We've got the Wanderer set. I assume that means a Wanderer class undead has fallen, or whatever. What are they called again? I don't think they... I think we're the chosen undead or some shit. Yeah, you can probably tell I was never all that interested in the story. Oh, that's very good. I've never actually done that A-gaming. I've used the Winged Knights in Dark Souls 3 to grind, but I've never actually used Undead Rapport to let them do it themselves. Sounds like a great idea. I'll have to give that a try next time I'm playing Dark Souls 3. Sounds like a very good idea. I like the sound of it. Oh. Look at the distance that he's attacking me from now. Is this where I want to continue? I hope so. No, this isn't where I want to be. Unless it is. Do I access a higher level from here? Or do I continue? No, I think I do go this way. Just wanted to make sure that I'm not going to the depths just yet. These guys really are unpleasant to look at. Alright. So, let's approach this in the right way. And I'll go two-handed and beat on him. Very good. You're gonna give me dung pie? You're not even gonna give me dung pie. I don't ask for much around here. Alright, we're getting closer to the Eito. He runs maniacally, doesn't he? Oh yeah, that's right, he's got a grabbing attack. Don't be shy, mate. I'm right here. Burn his ugly face. He almost ran at me, though. Here he comes. Wow. Got a primeval demon over there. Whoa. It's not actually a primeval demon, but it reminds me of one. I forgot what your deal is. What are you protecting? I don't even remember. I have to say, I just have no recollection. I only ever come here to get the Eito. I never reach Blighttown from the depths. So my experience with this area is quite limited. I think we're coming up to the red dogs. Fuck off, mate. Guy with creepy face. Oh, he tried to hug me, I think. And fell. And he fell again. Here come the red dogs. These enemies are the ones that I really hate the most. It's because they're small and they're dogs. Hi. He's definitely excited, isn't he? One thing I really don't appreciate right now are all of these sniping darts coming after me. Doing quite a lot for this Eito. Oh, there's one in the pot, so let's deal with him first. Nope, stop it. Alright, are you gonna climb the ladder? I'm not sure. Oh, he is! I just wasn't sure where the ladder was, clearly. I can't believe how many of you there are. It feels unfair. I just don't want you to grab me. Can you not do that? Just a polite request. Or it's intended to be polite anyway. I'm not sure what politeness will... I don't know where politeness will get me when it comes to you. How are there so many of them? I don't remember there being this many. Am I going crazy? No, I don't really want to do the Souls duplication glitch. I think it's so upsetting that they had another glitch. And the question is, why didn't they fix it? Why couldn't they release a patch for the thing? Right, there's the Eito. I just need to make sure that the coast is clear and I don't have any more of these creepy assholes coming after me. Alright, that is the jump, I think. Now, is there a safe landing for this, or am I... Like, as soon as I go off that little thing... So, the trick to the jump... You almost have to do a mini strafe jump, but basically you need to get out on that plank that sticks out. Unless you actually perform the jump from the edge of that plank, you're not going to reach the Eito. So, it doesn't look like I'll die if I miss it, but that doesn't mean I can be complacent. Let's go from this angle, actually. Let's not fucking strafe jump it, like it's COD. Oh, God. Alright. I can see that this asshole has been building up toxin on me. Nah. But you can see we were very close. Oh look, I've fallen into a den of these pricks. Okay, up the ladder, quick. Oh, the developers were using the glitch. Well, that's nice of them. Why can't they just give themselves whatever they need? Seriously. Alright, let's deal with this guy, or possibly these guys, plural, because I need to figure out how to get back to the Iaito. Oh, there's the bonfire, okay. I knew there was a bonfire somewhere around here, I just hadn't succeeded in finding it. Are we going back this way? I think so. Fuck hell. I just need to actually find the best route. He's running after me, okay. Asshole. Right, so the Iaito is there, so we need to make our way up around there. But first and foremost, I do need to go to the bathroom. So I will do that now, because the need to take a piss is just going to distract me from my task. So I will be back in just a moment. I'm back. Just getting everything organized. And by everything, I mean my hair. Alright. Just double checking audio. Okay. I don't trust anything around here, so I wasn't going to go and do my business without quitting. Well, he hid in the pot and then he died on the pot. Very good. It's just a funny spot for him to be lying dead. Alright, here we are again. Next attempt. Jesus, fuck this bridge. What a terrible bridge. I suppose I didn't need to use that one, but still. Alright, so are we aiming for that pillar. Yeah, okay, hold on. Very good. So second try, not too bad. Suppose we'll use our last homeward bone? Alright, here's what we're going to do. Our next task is going to be unlocking that shortcut. If I haven't done it already, I should have done it because I've already been to Lower Undeadburg and gone to the depths. So if I didn't unlock that shortcut, I'm going to smack past Doomlink. I don't know how I'm going to do that. I suppose the only way to actually do that is to smack present Doomlink, isn't it? So I'm going to smack myself for having done something ridiculous. But yeah, hopefully I've unlocked it. Have I? Thank God for that. Alright, I've got the Eitor now. Starting off at 88 damage, but a much better scaling. And when I say 88, I mean the sword itself. It's got 88 damage, but a much better scaling in dexterity. So I'm actually holding the souls that I've got right now, which are 33,000. I'm going to buy, I think, 3 homeward bones. Not 3, sorry, 5. So now I've got 31,488 souls. I'm going to use these to upgrade the Eitor to +5. I've got nothing particularly... I don't have anything against the halberd in particular, because I do quite like it as a weapon, but if I'm going to be very, very focused on dexterity, I don't really know if I want to be upgrading it right now. I suppose I don't have to completely avoid the weapon going forward. But as I say, I would rather rely on something else, and I think it's going to be the Eitor. Which is a sort of awkward name for a sword, isn't it? I wonder how other people pronounce it. You know, people who possibly aren't familiar with Japanese names or words. How the hell do they do it? I remember when I was much younger, you know, when the game came out, and I didn't understand Japanese as well. I think I called it the Eiato. Like with an Australian accent, Eiato. I think I said that. Here is the fucking Firekeeper soul that I keep walking past for some reason. But yeah, it's Eiato. Not Eiato. As I suspect I would have said. It's just weird to think about how you would have chosen to pronounce it back then. Alright. So we'll see if we've got any... Oh, I've actually got a large Titanite shard. Well, I'm happy to... That was probably the one that I picked up in Blighttown. I will give you the large ember. I was about to make mention of that, actually. Alright, let's purchase our 8... Or is it 9? Is it 8 or 9? 9, I think. And then we'll reinforce our Eitor. We'll be able to take it to +6, in fact. Courtesy of our large ember, and indeed our single shard of large titanite. I'm happy to have taken this weapon to +6 rather than the halberd. Let me organise my weapons a little bit. This is something that is honestly essential in this game. Otherwise you're just scrolling endlessly to achieve basic things. Alright, so... I mean, we're at 208 damage, which is actually a downgrade. This is 226, but I can attack much faster with this. I feel like I've got a little bit more... I suppose flexibility would be the word. But the best thing about it, for God's sake, is this attack. Oh, so good. So satisfying as well. Alright. It is Sen's Fortress time, I think. No, it's not Sen's Fortress time. It is... getting ahead of myself a little bit. I have forgotten to actually attune my magic, but in addition to that, I want to try and get some more slots. Okay, so... we've apparently got 3 attunement slots already. I didn't realize that you got 3 fucking slots at... what is that? 14 attunement. Already got 3 slots, that's extraordinary. Okay, so I can get all of these equipped. Let's just do it this way. That way it's sort of sorted by category. Alright, very good. And then I can just level up with what I've got now, I think. I mean, unless I want to... Do you know what we'll do? We'll hold on to what we have, so that we can upgrade the Ito. I like the idea of that. Let's be conservative with our souls, in pursuit of a stronger weapon. Although I suppose I could upgrade this a little bit more. Good day. What am I doing? I pressed the button to fucking throw it. Hand on heart. Alright, get here, you dick. You're just wasting my time now. Now, as for the shield that I get for this build, whatever shield looks good with the Thorn set is what I will choose to use. Would that be the Black Knight shield, or the Boulder Knight shield, or... What would be best? I'll give it a little bit of thought. What other shields can I use? There's also the Hollow Soldier shield, which might look good with the Thorn set. Although it might not be dark enough. It's hard to tell here. If I go out into the light, I might have a better idea. No, it's not really dark enough, is it? I will have to wait until I get the Thorn set to know for sure. Because maybe the Thorn set is closer to the Hollow Soldier shield in colour. I'm actually fine with the shield that I have at the moment. It's good enough. I'm sure some people have Pyromancer builds with this particular loadout for fairly obvious reasons, because Quaylana uses it, and she's a Pyromancer. But I don't really want to use it. It can't be upgraded, and the defense isn't amazing. It's 138 defense. Yeah, it's got pretty good resistances, but come on. This is not going to get me very far. Not within reason. Oh wow. I'm very reliant on the bleed damage of this weapon right now. Feels weak, don't you think? Maybe I'm just used to being stronger going through these areas. Do we want to... Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. And I'll consume this soul as well. Just to be clear, in case you missed it, I picked up another 2 large Titanite, so I'm going to make use of it right now. On this sword, just as I've been talking about it being a bit weak. Unfortunately can't take it to +8, but that is to be expected. Now, weirdly, my protocol has been in the past to spend my Iron Golem souls to purchase large Titanite from that vendor who's on the other side of the bridge in Sen's Fortress, like at the top. But I think that you can purchase them from the giant blacksmith anyway. So unless you're going to upgrade your weapon with Andre of Astora, there's really no reason to purchase them there. Well, I was really hoping to get an invulnerability period by backstabbing that other man-eater. That did not eventuate in the way that I was hoping. That's alright. And because I've got a man-eater up there, I'd better deal with these guys now. You can see that when you're doing a critical hit, it can actually work quite well as a form of invulnerability. Which really does work when you're stuck between one enemy and another. So, I don't know if you guys get to see me utilize that technique very often, but if you ever see me immediately go in for some kind of backstab or parry when there is a lot of enemies, that is actually the strategy. It's to ensure that you can actually deal damage whilst also staying safe. Works quite well. You fuck. Nearly knocked me off the edge. Alright, let's get out of the danger zone. Very good. Sometimes it gets caught on the axis, sometimes it doesn't. Just be aware that on occasion you might actually get hit back into the axe because you've either been hit or you have shielded that attack from a distance. It's very annoying when that happens. Oh. Still not enough to one-shot you, unfortunately. I'll tell you what will kill you. Goodbye. Mr... What's his name again? Someone of Katarina. Well, he's down there. And I believe the shottle is next to him. The shottle is another weapon that I may use for this build. You know what, let's go and get it. I almost never use the shottle, do you know? So, just to break tradition, I might actually go and get it. It's interesting, I mean, I think part of the reason why I don't use it is because I started in Demon Souls and there are weapons in that game that just ignore shields without needing to do a special attack. Like, for example, the Blind and the Large Sword of Moonlight. So, you know, the novelty of being able to hit through a shield is a little bit less pertinent for me. So he's not actually right next to it. I don't particularly have a reason to talk to him, just to be clear. Let's play it safe and just stand here. But yeah, against certain enemies I may actually utilize the shottle. It can be a nice way to just break the... Oh, what the hell was I thinking? Complacency would be the word that I would use to describe that. That's alright, let's try again. Stupidity and complacency. That's all that was. So, what was I saying? Yeah, it's nice to have the shottle on hand, and if I'm using a dexterity build, may as well do it. Or may as well upgrade it. So, it's not really something I would advise a person to use as their main dexterity weapon, but it's a nice, I was about to call it a sidearm. It's not a fucking sidearm, but you know what I mean. It's a secondary weapon. Once again, an enemy that actually has a butt stab instead of a backstab. It's unfortunate and regrettable, but that's what you get for being so tall. And also dick stab for parries, as you can tell. Really don't like that ranged asshole. There's a good example of a scenario where you might actually be hit into the axes behind you. It's pretty cool though that they use flamberges, because when you've got so many of those curvy looking swords, quite cool. Oh, does that man need to not revive, or what? In other words, respawn. Does he not respawn? That's a bit strange. Alright, so we're not going to try that again. We're going to stand here and then go. Jesus. Does our friend want to come down for a fight? Doesn't look like it, that's alright. Alright, we've got the shottle now. What sort of damage does it deal defaultly? It's probably not much at all. 82. A little bit less than the Iaito. But as I say, very cool weapon for breaking the guard of an enemy that you're fighting. It's good as a secondary, but the thing is I probably will... Oh my god, what am I doing? I need to open my fucking eyes, to be honest. And stop playing like I'm not paying attention. Well, let me rephrase. How about I start paying attention instead of not paying attention? Might be a good plan. I wait with patience. There is the Ring of Steel protection up ahead, but I'm not going to be using it for this build. At least not yet. We can hear the sound of the mechanism being turned in order to bring the boulders down this hallway. If that is the word that I want. I guess passageway would be better. You could say stairway or passageway. I don't think hallway is in any way acceptable, but that's alright. Let's not dwell on the misspeak. We don't want to rescue... Oh, well, we do get... Okay, how about we just get some extra souls? We'll think of it that way. We don't need to rescue Big Hat Logan, but we can get a reasonable soul from one of the cages, I think. I'm just sending some more rocks to kill that man-serpent. I called it a man-eater before, I think. It's not a man-eater. That is a Demon Souls boss. Which I would quite happily never fight again, but I most certainly will fight it again. You're still alive. Alright. Barely. Don't interrupt me while I'm itching my nose, please. Alright, so the soul that I was referring to is the one over here. I can't remember what it is, but you can see that it's reasonable. It's glowing quite a lot. Soul of a hero. I don't remember how many souls it gives you, but it's a reasonable amount for this part of the game. Big Hat Logan can stay in his cage. I don't care about that guy. Probably a bit unkind, but I'm not here to make friends, I suppose is what I would say. I'm hoping the volume of the game is a little more suitable this time around. I'm making it a little bit louder than the last Dark Souls livestream. I actually thought it was a little bit louder than normal for that one, but it wasn't. It actually was not particularly audible at all. You could hear a little bit in the distance, but not as much as I would like. So I'm hoping the audio level this time around is a little bit better. I'm actually going to double check to see what it is. Oh, that could even be a little too loud. Let's just drop it back. That's going to be a good indication. If that's a little too loud, I'll know for next time. But if that's actually appropriate, then I'll return it to what it was. I don't know if I want it to be in the yellow, in other words. It's getting into the negative 30 range, I think, on the dB scale, something like that. Dick shot. That is such a cool way to kill an enemy. Yeah. I think from previous use of the Uchigatana, it makes me not want to even use the strong attack of a katana. Because I just hate that. I hate the strong attack. I was going to use a fire orb to finish you off, but I think that may have counted as a counterattack. Possibly. Alright. Now, it will be safe to pick up this. And we can drop down here. Yeah, it doesn't even land on top of you there. It has to go on that side first. So we're sitting on 37,000 souls. I'm going to conduct reverse hollowing so that I can summon Tarkus. That is pretty much essential for when I'm fighting the Iron Golem. Going to the Attune Magic page. Going to Attune Magic usually prevents that stupid sitting down glitch, which I was able to unfortunately demonstrate to you earlier on in the recording. I don't think I'm going to be using any pyromancy against the boss, so I might actually use what I have at the moment, starting with Great Combustion, on the giant throwing the petrol bombs. If that's a good description. Maybe we could say oil pots? But I like the word bomb. Goodbye. I won't summon Tarkus just yet. Oh, my mouse is on the screen. Good day, sir. Oh, that's not a good starting attack. I did actually forget to... This feels really stupid. I didn't actually use the Firekeeper soul that I got from the Undead Parish. I don't know why I'm so allergic to them. Do you know why? It's because I've been doing so many New Game Plus playthroughs lately. As in, not New Game, in other words. Just New Game Plus and beyond. That I'm just out of the habit of even paying attention to the Firekeeper souls. Are you dead? How are you still alive? Get out of here. That took 8 Great Combustions. I wasn't expecting it to take that many. Well, perhaps I was. Got a Titanite chunk there. That was quite good. I've got 3 large Titanite shards. Yeah, I might actually get the cage key and level things up a bit. Might be a good idea. If I'm going to go that far, do you think I might go and purchase some large Titanite shards? Yeah. Why not? I'm sitting on a few souls. Let's get the cage key first. That's this way, isn't it? I think so, yeah. No, sorry. It is actually in the direction of where we purchased them. Almost forgot. Not as difficult as the Eitor jump. Although I have to say, when I was first trying to make that jump in the past, I hadn't actually noticed that one part of the bridge was jutting out slightly, so I just kept on missing the jump. It was terrible. I couldn't really work out what the fucking trick was. Oh, shut up. I don't like this guy's attitude. He's an arsehole. I guess we can call that a firebomb that the guy's throwing. The big giant. Because they look like these, right? They look like giant firebombs. I can get as many as 10. I don't believe I require as many as 10. I've already got 3. Do I know how many I've already used? How many would it have been? I'm going to go with 6. Let's buy 6. Oh, no, that means... No, why did I buy 6? I meant to have a total of 6, not buy 6, for a total of 9. Whoops. That was my mental blank there. It would be kind of cool to have a slight change to the attack for a follow-up. But no, it just does the same thing twice, unfortunately. Well, we'll be able to get an Eitor plus 10. At the very least. Sadly, I don't believe it's possible to actually get the very large ember until you have placed the Lord Vessel. So... because you need the key to the seal to drain the water. And unless you've drained the water, I do not believe that you're able to reach the very large ember. Hopefully I'm not wrong about that. Because if I am wrong about that, then that would have been something that I could have done before going to Anor Londo just for fun, but... Oh yeah, I did say that I would kill Pinwheel, didn't I? Forgot to do that. But it's not the end of the world. I don't really need to kindle any bonfires beyond Intensity 2. As long as I've got my 10 Estus flasks, that's fine. What I will do, though, now that I'm actually thinking of it and not being an idiot... sorry, I already have been an idiot. I was trying to suggest that I wasn't being an idiot in this moment, but I actually am, because I've gone past the cage that I meant to use as a lift. as an elevator. While I'm thinking of it, I will actually make use of the Firekeeper soul that's currently sitting in my inventory not doing anything, which would be much better served being in the possession of the Firekeeper of Firelink Shrine. No. If you're going to take that long to swing at me, I'm not going to even give you the opportunity, my friend. I hope you get knocked off. Goodbye. Looks like Titanite demons aren't very interested in man-serpents. What would have been really funny, though, is if the man-serpent falling actually counted as something that would damage the Titanite demon. If you had asked me if a man-serpent falling did deal damage to other things in the environment, I probably would have said yes. But I think we can say with certainty that they don't, after having witnessed that. I know I've got man-serpents chasing after me. Alright, let's upgrade this sword to +10. Should have enough souls for that. If we don't, I'm sure we can consume something. Oh, apparently I needed 7, not 6, so that would have been really annoying if I had a total of 6 and then only needed 1 more, so I'm sort of glad that I overpurchased. Alright, so now we have a +10 EITOR at 260 damage. Still not great. Suppose I just need to work on my dexterity now. But that's good. Now that I've actually worked on the EITOR in the way that I have, I can allocate all funds acquired from killing the Iron Golem to my character. Which is good news. One of my favourite things to do with a katana. Because it almost looks floppy when you do it like that. You see what I mean? It's a... what's the word? An optical illusion. Just a bit of entertainment. Of course, there's a lot of running around that goes on when you haven't actually set the Lord Vessel. Oh, sorry, you don't need to set it, you just need to have it to warp around. So, when you haven't acquired the Lord Vessel, yes, there is a lot of running around that goes on, but I don't dislike it. When you become used to not needing to run around, yes, it is slightly annoying to be in that position, but when I consider the alternative, which is a world without this sort of beauty, this beautiful craft, this crafted world that we have in Dark Souls was completely abandoned, effectively, by having warping at the start of the game in Dark Souls 2. So if you look at the alternative, it's worse. I would rather have this set up here. Oh, okay. Well, thanks for letting me know, Remco. I'm almost tempted to go and do that now. Yeah, so you can kill the guy who gives you the key to acquire it without having the Lord Vessel, and then you can drain it early. That's something I'd completely forgotten. It's tempting to do, but I won't do it. Not now that I'm already walking in this direction. I've only got 1 chunk anyway. Yes, I can possibly get more, but I don't know if I want to put myself in a position where I'm grinding Dark Wraiths with a +10 EITOR. Or even a +11 one at 25 dex. I'll hold off on it for now. I should be able to use the cage without killing any man-serpents. It was a bit tight there, wasn't it? I'll stop it. Yeah, well, how annoying is that? So my character couldn't fucking turn around fast enough. He had to do a whirl, like a little sliding maneuver. It was either I went forward and got hit by the fucking axe, or turned around and got hit by the axe. Because that... I turned around to try and avoid it, you see, but... didn't fucking play out how I wanted it to. It's just that asshole hitting me from a distance. Really muddling me up. Whatever. Maybe he just wants attention. Like, what's he gonna get out of it? Why is he stationed there and attacking me in that way? Who ordered him? Was it the Iron Golem? Yeah, goodbye. Alright, so I'll have to conduct reverse hollowing again. It's okay, I've got plenty of humanity. It's just annoying to have to go and do it. Obviously, I'd rather not. I could have just gone and immediately made my way to the summon sign for Iron Tarkus. I'm instead having to do this shit again. Alright, once again, let's actually do this as a test. If I go to attune magic once, is that enough to resolve it? No, it's not. So, when you saw me going to attune magic twice, that is actually necessary. If I do it once, I still get stuck here. Okay. It's a very annoying glitch. One moment. For the record, if you're unfamiliar with that issue, and on the face of it, it looks like it might lead to save file issues, it won't. So when you force shut down the game, you can have issues with progress. I don't know if it ever leads to save corruption. I've never experienced that or heard of it. But if you force quit during a confrontation or something like that, or at a weird time, possibly during an autosave, it can be problematic. But if you're freezing at the bonfire, you're basically quitting at the bonfire, which is one of the safest spots to force quit. So don't necessarily take my word for gospel, but if you do have concerns, I hope that that has allayed them somewhat. Because, yeah, that's... of all the places to force quit while playing Dark Souls, that's probably the best place to, so you're not going to have any issues when it comes to progress. And it's not taking place during an autosave, so don't worry. Alright. It is time for the Iron Golem, who we will engage once Iron Tarkus is in play. There we go. Again, almost essential. Not absolutely required. But makes a huge difference to the confrontation. Huge difference. I'm sure you won't hold it against me for doing it. It's not really an exploit. It's literally just playing the game. I've always found it weird that Iron Tarkus just looks off to the side like that. What's he looking at? Oh, I know why he's doing it. That's so interesting. I've only just now realized that. He looks off to the side like that to make the player go, what's he looking at? And then it might actually prompt you to go up there and deal with the giant who would be throwing bombs. So, how about that? I hadn't noticed that until now, but that's intended to be a little hint. That's assuming that the multiplayer messages haven't already told you. But I don't have any of those. So, too bad. Oh god, his range is better than I thought. The most annoying thing about that throwing attack is that this enemy becomes resistant when he does that. Fucking hell, I definitely need to be targeting, look at this. For such a large enemy, he's doing a very good job of evading what I'm doing. And that completely missed. I completely missed 3 of my fucking pyromancies. Ridiculous. Ugh. There's the invulnerability again. If I'm patient, Tarkus will just do the work, but I do want to contribute. There we go. Let's get a knockdown on this leg. Very good. Unfortunately, he didn't fall off, but that's alright. Thank you, Tarkus. I feel like he's got a fully upgraded greatsword. And I'm referring to the weapon itself, not Ultra Greatsword, the weapon type. Or rather, Greatsword, the weapon type. It is an Ultra Greatsword that he is using, called the Greatsword. Not that I really need to clarify that, but just in case someone wants to be a know-it-all. I feel like when I record this game, I don't allow the grandeur of this particular location to have its effect. I feel like anyone watching my playthroughs as a first experience watching a Dark Souls playthrough probably is not going to get the best experience. It's because I've played the game through so many times that I tend to, like, I'm not going to allow the Anor Londo entrance to be as epic as it should be, in other words. I'm going to cancel that just so that I can consume the souls that I have. So Core of an Iron Golem, it's only used for the Golem Axe. Even if you've got an appropriate build for it, it's not a particularly good weapon, so I'm not going to be using it for this build, most certainly. It's an additional 12,000 souls. We've got a Soul of a Hero, which we got next to Big Hat Logan. Just clearing out all of this stuff. Sometimes it is useful to have souls on hand, just in case you've lost souls, like all of them, they're on a bloodstain or something, and you really need some just in the meantime. It's nice to have consumable souls, like hard souls, like that, but I'm being greedy. I've got 90,000, which at this soul level is quite a lot. I can actually get 10 level ups out of that. So, what are we going to do? We're going to take you to 30. We're going to take... Oh. So 16 gets us to the next attunement slot, but I don't think I'll do it just yet. We don't have a need for attunement slots, so I think I would get more use out of vitality and endurance, so... Vitality to 20? Probably. Or do we want... So we will be prioritizing getting the Thorn set. So the more equip load we have earlier on, the better. I'm not too worried about my health, so that's not to suggest that I'm not going to increase my vitality, but I just have a feeling that at this stage, it would be better to take endurance to 20 now. Unless I want dexterity to go beyond 30 at this point. I probably don't. I think I'll wait until Ornstein and Smo have been killed before I work on that further. So that'll do me. And I think I'm in good stead. I think I have a pretty good loadout for Anor Londo. I wouldn't really recommend taking on Anor Londo at a soul level lower than 40. 40 to 60 is probably most comfortable. 60, you'd probably be a little bit over-leveled. I mean, obviously, that's just my recommendation. If you're experienced, then my recommendation is irrelevant, just because you don't really need the ideal soul level to play through it. Really going for that flinch. Probably shouldn't have wasted them all on that one. Maybe I should have used 2 there and then 2 on the next gargoyle. In my opinion, the next gargoyle is a little bit more difficult. Not by a huge margin, though. Really feeling the bad stability. Is that the word? I'm used to guard break reduction. Stability is the word, yeah. So my stability on this shield really feels inadequate going up against these painting guardians. It may actually be better to try and rely on the poise of the wolf ring than rely on my fucking shield stability. We'll see what I can do. I'm going to actually make use of combustion here. Having a really focused close range damage, or having really focused close range damage is really important for this. It casts quickly, it's high damage. Definitely combustion is what we want. Goodbye. I don't have to worry about my bad shield stability now. Goodbye. I would say that I'm making use of my pyromancy pretty effectively, which is what I want. You know, I want to be doing a pyromancy build where it really feels like that's what you're watching, that's what you're experiencing. Okay. Now for the last of the gargoyles. He is the last one that you fight in the game. I believe you fight a total of 4. Might build up some bleed. Got the tail axe out of that. Oh no, I must already have it. Seeing as though I didn't get it, I must already have it, right? I don't remember getting it. Really? I thought that if you cut the tail, it was a guaranteed gargoyle's tail axe. There must be some other requirement. Because I don't think it's chance-based. So maybe I actually missed one of the requirements. Maybe it had to be one of the earlier ones. That's interesting. Okay. Well, the gargoyle's tail axe wasn't something I, A, particularly wanted, and B, it's not that good of a weapon. I've used it in the past just for fun. I actually used it in the previous version of this build that I'm using. Because the previous version of this build was a completely non-stat scaling build, you see. So... it was kind of fun to be using an elementally infused gargoyle's tail axe. Just a bit different, you know. It's got that big chopping motion, which is unique to specific axes. You know, if you've got the great axe, bit of a different story. Ooh, it's not great. Guess I can use a fire orb. Oh, this is dangerous. Let's not fuck around anymore. I mean, I will use fire orb, I'm just not going to intentionally give myself bad. Oh, still decent damage, look at that. I'm not going to intentionally allow my health to remain at a low level. Look at that. 2 fire orbs will actually kill these guys. Maybe they're quite weak to fire. Fuck off. I'm surprised that the Silver Knights aren't shooting at me at all. I could be wrong, but I don't believe they've been aiming for me while I've been walking up here. It would be funny if I had a glitched instance where they weren't even there at all. Okay, they are there. Not that I'm particularly worried about them. It would just be funny not to have to deal with them. I hate it when this happens. Is that a one-shot? Not quite. Very close to being. Dick shot. Goodbye. Well, I completely expended my pyromancies to get to this point, but I think I used them well. I didn't squander them, and I also wasn't really expecting Fire Orb to be as good as it is, but maybe I shouldn't be surprised because it's the next strongest before Great Fireball, I think. I don't believe there's an in-between. Well, there's technically an in-between, and that is the Great Chaos Fireball. I think ball is the word that I want, isn't it? Yeah, so Great Chaos Fireball, what it does is it reduces the impact damage of the actual explosion, and then it will gain additional damage for the lava that's on the ground. So I actually generally prefer the Great Fireball. I'm sure there are places to acquire the Great Fireball except from Quaylana. Let me just double check, because that's important. I want to get as many of those per playthrough as I can. If it can only be purchased from her, then that's fine. But I just want to be sure. Just finding the tab. Sometimes it can be hard to find. I've got a lot of tabs. I'm one of those disgusting people who has a million tabs open. If I actually told you how many tabs I had open in Vivaldi, you'd probably cry. You'd think less of me. But I need them. Okay, it seems that the only place where you can get it is from her. So I effectively get 1 per playthrough, which translates to 4 uses per playthrough. Almost makes it sound like I can only use it 4 times the entire playthrough, which is obviously not what I mean. Alright, what am I doing? I'm going to kindle this bonfire. We have Mr. Solaire. As you can see, you don't have to summon him to any fight before this point in order for him to be here. But I'm quite sure you do need Solaire to have been spoken to, at least once. So if you completely ignore him in the Undead Burg, you do so at your own peril. I think he's really important to have for the initial Ornstein and Smo fight. I find that as you go into New Game Plus and beyond, your character is so well built by then that the difficulty increase actually doesn't really negate the effectiveness of your build. So you don't really require that additional, I mean, it helps, but you don't require so much that additional distraction from Solaire. But for New Game, yes, I would say definitely get Solaire if you can. But I don't want to mislead anyone. It's not a requirement that you summon him. If you want to learn how to fight them without him, power to you. It's not required. I have no real need to visit the blacksmith now, but I might just check to see if I can buy Titanite shards from him. Regular ones. I don't think I can. I think he only sells large Titanite, green, twinkling, and that's probably it. Because I would actually like to upgrade the shuttle a little bit. It's funny, I certainly wasn't expecting to even waste my time with the shuttle, but I thought just in the interest of doing something a little different from the norm, I would actually work on it this time. He does sell Titanite shards. Much to my pleasure. The unfortunate thing though, and this is a little bit annoying, this is one aspect to the game that I don't really completely agree with, feels a little bit rough around the edges. But because I gave Andre of Astora the large ember, I cannot actually modify a +5 weapon into a +6 weapon through the giant blacksmith. Only the person whom receives the Ember can actually conduct that service, can actually give you that. So it's really annoying. I'll demonstrate that now. So if I go to modify equipment, no option. I can make the Chaos Blade. Yeah, that's what we want. We want the Chaos Blade for sure. We certainly don't want the Lightning Iaito, because you can see that we lose our bonus. Do we not? No, we do lose our bonus. You can see that it goes from B to a hyphen. The hyphen means null. So, absolutely no fucking scaling. They obviously changed that in Dark Souls 2 and beyond. Possibly for the better. I'm not sure how I feel about it. But I like the idea of it. I like the idea of elements having a scaling with other stats such as faith and intelligence. I think it's a good implementation. Does it make intelligence builds that are already very strong even stronger? Yes, but it also, I feel, allows you to use intelligence in more ways than you could have before. I don't know if these guys bleed, let's find out. They do. Okay. Wasn't too sure. I'm definitely going to deal with these guys. I think they're called Guardian Giants. Oh, getting a bit stuck there. I think he's healing himself. No, he's not. Just in case he was doing Wrath of God, I wanted to get the hell out of there. I just want to make sure that these enemies are dead, so that Solaire isn't losing health unnecessarily. Very nice. Alright, so there is a weird little thing with Solaire here. It may not be present in the remastered version, but you know, knowing From Software, it probably is. If you leave Solaire too quickly, he will actually go backwards off the edge there and lose a little bit of his health before engaging the boss. So if you want to make sure that he doesn't lose his health, just be nice and close to him when he's summoned. And then he will come down the stairs properly. It's really annoying that he does that. But obviously the whole point behind killing those enemies was to ensure that he would have max health when we actually engage this boss. I'm going to use my Pyromancy against the first one that we fight. The way I do this every time is I kill Ornstein first. The idea is you want the easiest one in their level 2 or their stronger version to be the one left alive. Whoever is easiest to kill when left. That is absurd. That is some of the dumbest shit I've fucking seen. Fucking ridiculous. I'd like to... I don't want to be too aggressive, but I do want to get bleed off on you. Oh, Solaire's helping me out. Possibly a bad thing? As you can see, we've got Smo here. Alright. Solaire almost has all of his health, which is good. I couldn't believe that I just threw a fucking fireball through Ornstein. And just got hit stupidly as well. Really annoying. Oh, got hit from the side there. Obviously this hammer is huge. And can I just say, for people who don't have much experience with strength builds and haven't actually used Smo's hammer, it's such a stupid weapon. I don't mean in terms of effectiveness, I mean it's actually stupid. Because you can barely see anything when you're using it. It's so large. It's almost as big as it appears here. It's not literally the same size, but it's close. And you almost can't see anything when using it. It's so obstructive to your vision that I almost never equip it. It's kind of fun because it's a nice design. I like the appearance of it, right? But I don't like the appearance of it so much that I'd rather look at that than other things while I'm playing the game. So, yeah, it just gets in the way, it's annoying, so I don't really use it. Soul of Smo, don't really need to keep it, so I think I will consume it. Alright. A nice quick run through Anor Londo. We will go and get the Lord Vessel. And then we'll level up, of course. Good day. Going to give me the option to kneel? Thank you. Alright. So now that we can warp, possibly the first thing that I'll do once I've leveled up. Only 6,000 souls left, I might hold off. I'll level up all except one. You know what I mean. I'm gonna leave enough souls to actually upgrade my shuttle a little bit. Dexterity to 35, vitality to 16? Do I really want to do that? Possibly. Big boost in damage. Oh, am I going to do it? Probably, hey. Yeah, alright, let's do it. Because you know who's next, don't you? Sif. The Great Grey Wolf. So I'll be getting some more souls at that point as well. Alright. Oh, I was supposed to hold off on my level ups, that's right. Well, I've got 6,000 souls, let's see what I can do with that. Possibly not a whole lot. We shall see. Modify the shuttle to +6. And, yeah. So the actual upgrading itself is not very pricey. But the materials will be. Just thinking about the Soul of Sif, I don't think I'm actually going to need it. Because, yeah, it's just used for, I think, shields and great swords, etc., so, no. I'm one-shotting them now. Makes life easier. Alright, so the plan is to use the Soul of Sif, in other words, literally the souls that I get from it, to purchase large titanite from the giant blacksmith. However much is needed to fully upgrade the shuttle. And then, I'm happy to say, I should have a +10 shuttle. And by then I'll be able to just go through New Londo ruins and get the Ember and all of that business. And then obviously grind some Dark Wraiths. I just realized that I was carping about the unpleasantness of having to grind Dark Wraiths with a +10 or +11 EITOR, but whether I did it back then, or did it after killing Sif, it's going to be the same experience. Well, no, it's not true. Sorry, that's not true. I have been actually increasing my dexterity, so yeah, it's not the same. I'd like to withdraw that remark. I wonder if there's anyone that you can summon for this fight. I only ask because I'm currently alive, so thought I'd look around. But no, I don't think there is. Not to my recollection. The only confrontations that I really know the summons for are the ones where I have in the past felt that it's necessary to summon for them. Good day. I fucking knew that would happen. Alright, let's not position myself that close, shall we? I hate you so much. Do you know how that happened? I don't even want to tell you how that happened. It was barely worth it anyway. Alright. Come on, Civ. Gonna need to bleed you a little bit. Got nothing against wolves, and I've got nothing against you, but... it looks like I should have just been using my sword from the start. Come on. As you can see, I'm not wasting my time actually targeting him. It's going to make it harder for me to do anything. Missed the timing though. What are you doing? He's got certain attacks that will catch you. No, I don't want to see the injured Civ. That's really unpleasant. I hate watching him when he reaches that amount of health where he's almost dead. It's unpleasant. I don't like it at all. There's the Armor of Thorns. That's what we need. We're getting close to being able to get it. Do you think it's worth getting a bow for this? I mean, if we're doing a dexterity build, probably. Let's level up with what we have here. So, vitality to 19. The next time we level up, we'll get another attunement slot, then leave attunement again. I feel like I'm probably not, but I may be in danger of losing opportunities to get pyromancies, but that doesn't really happen in this game as much. It's really in the later games where if you don't actually check to see what might be beneficial to you in your build, you may lose your chance to get certain things. But Dark Souls doesn't really do that. And I don't think Demon Souls does either. Not usually. I'd say that's a good thing about the older games. But then you could also argue that there's no stat reallocation in the first two games, so it balances out. But anyway. Obviously there's one example, and that would be clearing the Bed of Chaos before purchasing your Quaylana stuff, but come on. You're practically not even doing a pyromancy build if you end up doing that. I suppose that's the logic. Oh yeah. Silly me. So, Soul of Quelaag again, I'm just sort of keeping it there. For a rainy day, I don't know. Okay, so we are at Shottle plus 8. So I think we need 7, don't we? Or is it... hold on, so going to 8... I think it's 7 from here. I think it's the same as last time. But I don't think I can afford 7. No, I can't. Well, let's buy the 4 and see what we can do. Alright. So, once we can afford 3, we'll be able to get the Shottle to plus 10. For now, let's put the Pyromancy Flame here and the Shottle here. Just like the idea of having it here to just... as a secondary weapon, as I mentioned before, just so that I can deal with anyone who wants to turtle me. I'm going to reorganize my stuff. Shottle can go above Halberd, actually. Alright. Yeah, I will, Homeward Bone. I'm not going all the way back there, that's ridiculous. Alright. So... what's our next step? Probably New Londo? I'm just really eager to get that Thorn set. Is there a point at which... I might actually go back through my previous recording that I did in Dark Souls just to make absolutely sure that I did actually kill the guy who's using the set. Let me just mute it. Hold on. Alright. I'm doing this just because I think if I place the Lord Vessel and I haven't actually killed him the first time, I will lose my opportunity to do so. So I'm just checking to make sure. I don't think I did. No, oh, no, I'm watching myself do it. Hold on. It's just weird that I don't have a memory of it. Yeah, okay. I'm fighting him and then he almost kills me. Alright, I can see that he was killed. His name is Kirk, not Dirk. Okay. So I have been getting it wrong. I just had a feeling that I had been getting it wrong. No one's actually, you know, corrected me on that, but that's alright. I'm the one who should know these things, not my audience. Firekeeper Soul. Should I have 3 by now? Or rather, +3 Estus Flask by now? I suppose it doesn't matter that much. I'm only at 19 vitality, so... who cares, I suppose? On we go. So literally, once we've killed the 4 kings, it's Armor of Thorns time. And then I need to work out what shield is going to match. The prerequisite, or rather, I suppose, the main criterion would be that it's not a shit shield. It needs to actually work when fully upgraded. But the other criterion would be that it matches, so... there is a prerequisite that it's not a shit shield. I only have 1 transient curse, so I will go back and check to see if I got the ones in this pot. Hello, Rome. I don't know why I didn't notice the body there. That's alright, there is another location for me to take advantage of. I do at least have 1, so I can use that now. That way I'm not put in the awkward scenario of trying to get them whilst being unable to hit the ghosts. Oh, that's right, I changed hands. I think these enemies are somewhat... no, they're not particularly weak. Oh, there you go, I got 2. Immediately. I'm trying to hit it through the wall. It's not working very well. I never do that. I wonder why. Well, I suppose I don't have to wonder. So I had 0 before, once using one, or after having used one. Now I have 4. Which is quite nice. Well, if I'm going two-handed, they die in 1 hit, so... definitely well leveled here. I don't know how I'm getting so many transient curses. They don't normally drop this easily. What's more likely to drop, transient curse or jagged ghostblade? It's kind of funny that you can only get the jagged ghostblade by hitting them, so... I don't know how worth it is to even use this. How strong is it right now? Not very strong. It's interesting though. It's not something that I ever use. Does it have any interesting functions? I mean, you could have given it a fucking stat scaling, couldn't you? An E in strength. Come on. Yeah. For anyone who's not aware, it can hit ghosts without needing transient curse, but I've never used it. I don't think I've ever seriously used the jagged ghostblade. And I do not regret admitting it. Like, what the hell am I going to do with it? Upgrade it? Well, I don't know. Apparently Rome sees me more as a Souls player than as a Monster Hunter player. Not sure. I'd say I'm in equal parts Monster Hunter and Souls player. I started the series the same year. This is not fucking acceptable. It's not. I don't know how I was just so effectively and completely flinched out of everything I was doing in that moment. If I were able to cut down the enemies that were in front of me and hitting me, I would have been able to get out of there without them continuing to attack me. Because this is the thing. Yes, you can create distance, but you also need to deal with the threat. Now, I didn't even get a chance to create distance because I couldn't deal with the threat. This is the thing, because those guys have a lot of range. So just running away is a bad idea. You have to try and kill at least some of them. What a stupid situation. I don't know if you agree, but that situation there didn't really make sense. I was really ineffective and for no obvious reason. I was just getting very awkwardly flinched. I'm trying to consider how I will fare against the Four Kings. I suppose I've got the right level of damage. I don't know if they're actually going to be affected by bleed. My guess is that they won't be. If they are affected by bleed, then that's great. Because that does a percentage of health. That means that this will be quite effective in higher levels of New Game. I hadn't really thought about whether or not they could be affected by bleed, because the thing is, the Four Kings actually is one of the hardest things about a very high level of New Game. Because it's all about how quickly you can kill them before the next ones arrive. And it gets progressively harder and harder to dispatch them quickly as you continue through the various levels of New Game. So it makes it one of the most annoying bosses for that reason. And it also depends on your build. Some builds are just really terrible for the Four Kings. I really don't like the boss at all, I have to tell you that. Sometimes I find him okay, other times I find him insufferable. Generally speaking, I think he's a shitty boss. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to kill all of the ghosts that appear in this room first. Not good. Let's heal up. No. I hate the amount of poise damage that they do. I've definitely got my wolf ring on, yeah I do. Alright, I'm going to let them come back. At a certain point they do leash and head in that direction, some of them. I just don't want to be overrun. Alright, it looks like I've killed all of those ones. Okay. A little bit easier to manage that time. Because of my lacking poise, I'm just going to climb here until I get hit once, and then I'm going to drop down the ladder. Pull them towards me like so. Bit better than the last attempt, anyway. Got a scabbard swing in my face now. I have saved you from death, my friend. Because one of my viewers almost gave me the idea of killing you before I got the Lord Vessel, in order to get your key. But I decided against it. It wasn't really necessary, was it? Don't you think that it would have broken up the flow of the run a little bit if I had done that? It didn't take long for us to get here anyway. So I would say things turned out reasonably well. It's amazing how deep that water is. Look at that. Look how deep that water was. It's funny, you can see where the water line was as well. I love little details like that. They didn't have to do that. They didn't have to make the gate look different, or the door rather, look different based on where the water line had previously been. Anyway, Dark Wraith time. Get over here. Oh, almost one-shotting. I've been overestimating their effectiveness. I think that's safe to say. Valley of the Drakes down that way. Normally don't have a reason to go over there. I might go over there in this playthrough, just so that I can demonstrate it. I think I went through the Valley of the Drakes in either my PS3 playthrough or in one of my Xbox playthroughs just to show it off. But that was ages ago. That was like 3 years ago. So I'd say it's about time I did it again. Had a feeling you were coming after me as well. Well, was really hoping to get the other one now. So that one should be dead. I also need to consider the fact that there's the giant blob. The big sludge creature. There's also an exploding head. Trying to get these exploding heads to go off. I suspect, however, that you're not going to last very long if I throw one of the... dude, fuck off, mate. Ruining the moment. That's what you're doing. Not a good idea. I hadn't fucking realised he'd summoned another one. I don't know how. I didn't notice, but... Anyway, fine. Good on you, man. How did I miss that? It's not a bad spot for us to have died anyway. We need to go back down there. I'm going to push through to the Four Kings. Because I'm really interested to see what kind of damage I'm going to be dealing. If the Four Kings ends up being a little bit too difficult with 10 Estus Flasks, I will go to the Catacombs, get the secret right, and I will fucking kindle that Filing Shrine bonfire to 20. Without reservation. But this may be enough. We'll just have to find out. I'll get my souls back first, and then that'll be it. Because if I'm going to take on the Four Kings in this attempt right here, I'm not going to waste pyromancy on that fucking blob. Fear not, for I will be coming back through here many, many times in the future. No need to do it right now. I will of course be grinding Titanite chunks here, so... Alright. Let's see how we are prepared for this fight, or rather see whether or not we are prepared for this fight. I'm interested to see if he suffers from bleed. I don't remember anymore. I'm sure there would have been a time when I knew. I hate it when he does this. Particularly as an opening attack, it's just annoying. If this is how you're going to fight me, this is going to be a terrible experience. Do you see what I mean? When he does those attacks, what it does is it prolongs the fight unnecessarily. It makes it 10 times harder than it needs to be. And it's also making it harder for me to get my bleed build up, if it can even be achieved. So the other one's already spawned, and you can see the only real reason why I haven't been able to kill this one before that one spawned is because he's been fucking prolonging it. Can't see shit. That's another really annoying thing about the fight. It is the fact that if you're on top of the one that's dying, you can't actually see the other one making its way towards you. And it's important that you get a visual on the other one, because sometimes they might be gearing up an attack immediately to hit you. My stamina management isn't great, but at least I've got 20 endurance. Anything less than that and this would just be miserable. Kill him, kill him, kill him, kill him, kill him! No! This won't kill me, but it's not good. It's not good. Alright, so I should have enough. I should have plenty, actually. Not that. Let's see how much damage this does. Not a huge amount. It's actually not even worth throwing this. You can see how fucking aggressive I am with the Four Kings. It's because I've done so many, like, new game +1, +2, +3, +4 fights with the Four Kings that the best way to do this is just shield or just get it over and done with. No, bad. The closer you are, the less damage the Four Kings does to you. Do not engage him at a distance. I don't know if I can get out of the way or not. I can. But yeah, I know how the Four Kings works. The thing that annoys me the most about him is the way he just prolongs the confrontation when time is of the essence. That shit. And look, if you're so minded to do so, you can actually keep attacking him while he's disappearing to deal more damage to the overall health of the boss. But I'm playing it safe here, and instead deciding to keep an eye out on the other enemies to make sure that I'm ready to receive any attack that... 3 in a row. I don't think I've ever seen that. And he's broken. 4 in a row. If I end up having to deal with more than is manageable, it can be said with confidence that it had nothing to do with me. Had everything to do with the most unfavorable fucking AI of the Four Kings ever. I said at the beginning that this was a cursed run, and it sort of feels like it. I am at the mercy of the whims of the other Four Kings, because they can just randomly do attacks, like while you're... Okay, fortunately not. They can just randomly do attacks while they're circling around you. But I had to stay focused on that one to make sure that I was okay. Fortunately, that was entirely manageable. I only needed 5 Estus Flasks. Well, technically 4. So, that worked out fairly well. Sadly, he doesn't actually give you a soul. But I think they make up for it by giving you more souls when you kill him. I tend to just deal with Karth rather than the other one. The other primordial serpent. Frampt, his name is. It's just easier. Alright. So with that, we have a few more souls, and most importantly, we can actually access Lost Izalith now. We'll take ourselves to a 4th attunement slot. And I suppose Vitality to 21. Yeah. I will take vitality to 25 before we touch dexterity again. And even when I am doing more dexterity, endurance, endurance, endurance. Very important. Firelink Shrine, I think. Yeah. Been doing about a 3-hour long recording this time around. Which is good. I'm just on a bit of a roll. I think it's because I'm really laser focused on getting that armor set. Do you know what? Let's go back to New Londo Ruins. Just so that we can clear it out properly. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. I want to make use of the chunks that I've got. I've got 4 chunks, so I can actually upgrade the Iaito a few times once I actually get the Ember. So let's go and get the Ember. It is fairly easy to get once you have properly gone through New Londo. Or I guess once you've lowered the water, that's the best way for me to describe it. Come to think of it, it is time we unequipped this ring. I usually unequip it immediately, otherwise I'll just forget about it. You know when you're so used to having a particular ring in that slot, and then you completely forgot that you put the Artorias ring on, Covenant of Artorias? Just so close to getting a one-shot there. It's going to be very good to actually grind them. There's another chunk. Presumably 9 are required in total in order for me to fully upgrade this weapon. I'll use a Twin Humanities just to get my item discovery up a little bit. Oh, mistimed there. And now for the blob, as I'm affectionately referring to him as. I keep forgetting that I put it in my in my left hand, not my right. Oh. Really fucked that up. See how beautiful that attack is? You just can't compare that shit to... here I am doing it again. You just can't compare it to... the Uchigatana. The Uchigatana is terrible compared to the Iaito, in my opinion. Uh-oh. Look who has just made an appearance. That could have ended very badly. Get over here. What the fuck are you doing? Why are you turtling me? Do I need to pull out my shuttle? Probably shouldn't have, now that I look at it. Good night. Motherfucker, I should be checking to see if anything dropped. Alright, we've got an exploding head. Let that go off. Oh, there were 2. There was one hiding. It's terrible. I don't know where the hell that one came from, but to say it was hiding would be an understatement. That would not tell the whole story. Alright. You know when you're waiting for an enemy to attack you, and then they just kick you in the face instead? Yeah, well that just happened. Not getting too many chunks, but that's alright. I don't need that many. Not yet. I think I went the wrong way. Did I go the wrong way? Are you telling me that I could have gotten this without lowering the water? Am I actually that stupid? Is it possible that you can get this without... No, there's no fucking way you can get this at the start of the game. There must be some other There's no way you can get this at the start of the game. So, what the hell? How did that happen? So if let's just make this real clear. Let's make this real clear. Where the fuck am I? Did I confuse myself? I confused myself, I think. Yeah, I thought that was the parrying dagger. I thought I was somewhere else. Very good. That would have been really stupid. And it would have made no sense whatsoever. Thought that counted as an attack. Oh well. I think there is a chunk in that chest, actually. Goodbye. It's a fun way to kill them. Got another chunk. That is obviously one that is given to you. But I'm happy to take handouts at this point. There is another blob, but I have some dark wraiths to lure. Probably shouldn't have done that. It was a bit too soon. Don't have any more healing. I obviously have humanity, but I don't think it's necessary. Now, I was on the lower part of an incline, which often puts you in a disadvantage. You can often completely miss parries and such in those situations. Let me just get this exploding head. I think he's summoning more. More concerning, however, are these ghosts that are going to snipe me from a distance when I don't have much health. I really don't want to deal with them. How about we just retreat? We're out of healing wares. We've got a lot of chunks. How many do we have? Not enough for a full upgrade yet, but quite close. We can warp, so I don't mind taking the journey again. Yes, I do want to give you the very large ember. I was about to complain that you were talking about something that was irrelevant to what I was doing. Obviously that would have been a ridiculous thing to suggest. Well, it just so happens that I don't need any more chunks anyway. Let us pay the Undead Asylum another visit. As it stands, we are sitting at 370 damage, but there is much more damage to be unlocked, because we have an A scaling and only 35 dexterity. But we will be taking it to plus 15. I don't mind using a chunk on that. Sorry, a slab on that. I find those words to be a bit silly. Chunk, slab. Not a great naming system, in my opinion. I've never really thought about it before, so maybe I really shouldn't be criticizing it now. If it never crossed my mind as being a bad naming system until this very moment, maybe I really should just be quiet. It's just conversation, okay? I prefer the way they did it in Demon's Souls. Like, for example, slab versus pure. Pure Titanite versus Titanite slab. What do you think's cooler? I suppose I may as well get the rusted iron ring, but I don't have the key for it, do I? No, I didn't go and get the key. Oh well. We'll get it another time. Let's see what damage we're dealing with. Our fireballs. I keep forgetting that I've put it on my left hand. Do you know what? Sometimes the fucking pyromancy here, it's just stupid. Alright, my, speaking of my pyromancy, I can see that my flame has really just become a bit too weak, so I need to put some souls into that. Maybe I'll use the souls that I've got currently, and indeed the souls that I will have after killing the stray demon in order to get them. Thought I was about to fucking take a direct hit there. Alright. Just in case I want to go to the painted world, I will go and acquire the peculiar doll. And I'm hoping to get the Black Knight shield from you so that I might actually have the option to use it if it actually fits. Didn't get it. It's fairly rare. Okay, 46,000 souls. We shall make our way to Firelink Shrine and dump... Well, what am I doing? I should have upgraded my weapon to plus 15 first and then done that. Obviously forgetting the whole reason why I went to the Undead Asylum in the first place. But yes, I'm very much in need of a new armor set. I'm learning your gesture so that I have less shit to scroll through. Or at least the perception of having less things to scroll through. I don't have to go down that far, obviously. There's nothing between that and an option that I want to select, but seriously. Upgrade you to plus 15. Done. Don't get yourself killed. I will try. Still haven't killed Pinwheel. Hasn't happened yet. In time, I'm sure it will. Nope, not leveling up with them.
Why, yes, sir. Thank you for owning your debt.
I've got no idea. He's not selling anything new, which is unfortunate. Yes, I do want to ascend it to Flame 11. Jeez, it gets more expensive, doesn't it?
Goodbye then.
Goodbye then. I have some souls to consume, so hopefully this... Ooh, no, I'll hold it off there and then upgrade with this. Not purchase, modify, please. Alright.
Goodbye then.
Goodbye indeed. Okay, so I do still need to upgrade this shuttle a little bit more. But, yeah. Do you know what? This has been a long enough live stream already, to be honest. I don't want all of what I've achieved here to be almost swallowed up in too much content, so I'm actually going to hold it off. I'm going to keep it here for now. Strange way to describe that. But yeah, I'd say we did a good job. Our objective in the next recording, really, is to basically knock off Lost Izalith immediately. We'll get a new armor set in so doing. And hopefully we can work on some more pyromancies as well. And yeah, get a shield. We're doing fine for a weapon. It's plus 15, come on. So really all we need to do, like we're done with the weapon, we just need to keep upgrading our dexterity, which will also benefit our pyromancies. From 35 to 45, I believe, or at least thereabouts. Every time we upgrade our dexterity, we will be able to cast this stuff much faster. Okay. Well, thanks for letting me know, Remco. Apparently, this guy's gonna go die now. Which is not great. That means I have to is that really what he's going to do? That's not good, because I need to then fully upgrade my... or at least, as much as I can, upgrade my Pyromancy Flame before completing Lost Izalith. That's very helpful information, because apparently if I get to Lost Izalith, because obviously you kill Quaylana in Lost Izalith, I'm not going to be able to upgrade my Pyromancy Flame anymore, so that is bullshit. I will have to focus on getting some souls to do that. That may actually require that I take on a different location first. Maybe the Tomb of the Giants, for example. Maybe I can do that if I'm going to go and kill Pinwheel anyway. We will figure it out at a later date. Specifically when I next record. But anyway, I will bid you all farewell for now. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time I'm playing Dark Souls or anything else that I'm recording that you would like to watch. Bye bye for now.